Yes, it all started in 1844 when Samuel Pearson started a small brick and building company in Yorkshire in England. Now, records show that just 20 years later, the company was employing over 200 people. Now, by the time we get to 1875, Samuel's grandson was sent to the USA to drum up business. Now, Wheatman Dixon Pearson, much impressed by the dynamism of America, took joint control of the business alongside his father and began an aggressive expansion drive. By 1884, the company moved down to London, and under Wheatman's leadership, Pearson became one of the world's largest building contractors, working in Europe, China and Latin America. Notable construction projects include Southampton Dock, the Grand Canal in Mexico City, the Blackwall Tunnel in London, as well as 4 East River tunnels connecting New York to Long Island. A new century brought about a profound change in direction for Pearson. It was one of the world's leading builders, and then during construction projects in Mexico and Texas, oil was discovered, and Sir Wheatman, as he was now known, immediately recognised the potential and started to buy up lots of oil concessions. Now, by 1908, this is when Pearson took its first step into the media world by buying a majority stake in the Westminster Gazette, a London-based liberal newspaper. Roll on to 1914 and the First World War, mostly dominated by military contracts, but one interest was now reaping big rewards. By 1914, Mexico had become one of the world's largest oil-producing countries, and Pearson owned 60% of it. At the end of the war, Pearson took full control of the Westminster Gazette, turning it into a morning daily and buying other regional titles, all publishing under the Westminster Press name. Now, a year later and a new direction for Pearson, this time banking. Pearson established the Whitehall Trust as a finance and issuing house and bought a big stake in Lazard Brothers, the London-based merchant bank. Now, the 20s saw Pearson roar ahead as a true conglomerate. Now, in 1927, the man who steered the ship for so many years, Wheatman Pearson, died. His family continued to run the group, and throughout the 30s, it was business as usual until the advent of the Second World War. During that period, Pearson sold some of its strategic assets, some of its airline interests to the UK government. In 1957, publishing became the name of the game. A majority stake in the Financial Times was added, and under Westminster Press, Pearson controlled 60% of the local press in the UK. Now, the acquisitions continued throughout the 60s and 70s. Often they were off-core buys like London tourist attraction Madame Tussauds, or even the pottery maker Dalton & Co. Now, by the 80s, education played a bigger and more important role. Simon & Schuster's education division was bought for $4.6 billion, and assets like Madame Tussauds and Lazard were hived off. Pearson entered the 90s as the world's largest education publisher in the world. Now, of course, all non-core assets have been sold. The FT to the Nikkei, the Economist stake to existing shareholders, and next year expect its final media asset, a stake in Penguin Random House, to go to the highest bidder. All that means, of course, is that after 172 years as a construction company, an oil giant, a publishing powerhouse, it looks as though Pearson is now set for a new epoch as a pure education player.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.